Check. Shabbat Shalom, those of you who are joining us on YouTube and Facebook streaming. We are so pleased to be together this morning as we celebrate this Shabbat together. We'll be starting our service in just a moment here. Shabbat Shalom, it's wonderful to see everybody as we come together for our service. If you're on Zoom, can you give me a thumbs up if you hear me? Shabbat Shalom. If you are on Zoom and you can hear me, would you give me a thumbs up? All right. We're going to check to make sure that our folks who are joining us on other streaming platforms can see us and hear us. And our service will start in just a few moments. Shabbat Shalom to all of you who are joining us on the streaming. I'm not seeing any audio coming up on the stream. All right, sounds like the audio is and video is working. So welcome to everybody. It is such a pleasure to be joining you this Shabbat morning as we join together in Hine Matov. Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. As we begin our Shabbat service, as we begin every morning service, by donning our talit, surrounded by fringes which remind us of God's name, we say this blessing. In fact, let me go right over here and grab my talit. And you may join with me in prayer as we say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להתעטף b'tzitzit. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of all, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to wrap ourselves in the fringes. Modeh ani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam shehechezarta binishmati behemla rabba emunatecha rabba emunatecha. As we thank God for giving us breath and life each morning, we thank God for these beautiful sanctuaries from which we pray. In this case, our sanctuaries are our own homes. And in fact, when the words of Matovu were first spoken by Bil'am looking over the Israelite settlements, he said, Matovu ohalecha Yaakov, how fair are your tents, O Jacob, your dwellings, O Israel. Recognizing that our homes were sacred spaces, even thousands of years ago when we were humble and living in tents, especially now, even more so. Our homes are sacred. They're places of learning, places of prayer. The same places where we eat and sleep are the same places that are filled with God's presence every day. How fair are your tents, O Jacob, your dwellings, O Israel. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov Mishkenotecha Yisrael. And we thank God for our homes, our sacred places of prayer, and for our bodies which house our sacred souls. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher yatzar et ha'adam b'chokhmah. Uvaravo nekavim nekavim halulim halulim galui viadua lifnei chisei chivodecha she'im yipateach achad mehem o yisatem achad mehem אי-אפשר להתקיים ולעמוד לפניך. ברוך אתה אדוני רופא כל בשר ומפליא לעשות. Blessed are you, Adonai, who heals all flesh, working wondrously. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorai. From our homes which house our bodies to our bodies which house our souls, to thanking God for our very souls which fill us with life. Our souls, which at their core were given to us in a pure form. Elohai neshama shenatata bi. God, the soul you have given me is pure. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorai. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Ata verata, ata yetzarta, ata nefachta bi, ve'ata meshamera, meshamra bekirbi. Elohai, Elohai, neshama. Shenatata bi tehorahi. My God, the soul you've given me is pure. You created it, you shaped it, you breathed it into me, and you protect it within me. For as long as my soul is within me, I offer thanks to you, Adonai, my God and God of my ancestors. Source of all creation, sovereign of all souls. Praised are you, Adonai, in whose hand is every living soul and the breath of humankind. Baruch atah Adonai asher biado, nefesh kol chai veruach kol basar ish. Upon thanking God for giving us existence, a place to exist, and a place to pray, we thank God for all of the many miracles that we experience every single day with the Nisim B'chol Yom. We begin in Hebrew with Baruch Atah Adonai, and you may conclude each blessing in English or Hebrew. I'll be using some of both. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who has given the mind the ability to distinguish day from night. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who frees the captive. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Zokef kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who stretches the earth over the waters. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin mitzadei gaver. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who clothes the naked. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten le'arev koach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, whom removes sleep from the eyes, slumber from the eyelids. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'tzelem Elohim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who has made me free. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ozer Yisrael bigvura. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, oter Yisrael betifara. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who makes us holy with commandments and commands us to engage with words of Torah. Elu devarim she'en lahem shiur. These are, I started singing in Hebrew. These are the things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world to come, while the principle remains in the world to come. The fruit of which, let me just start this over again. You can't rush your Torah study. You've got to take it carefully, you've got to go slow, and you always study Torah with partners in prayer. Elu devarim she'en lahem shiur. These are things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world, while the principle remains in the world to come. They are honoring one's father and mother, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study, morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests and visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer and making peace among people. But the study of Torah encompasses them all. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייך וביומך ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מברך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירם בעלמא, ואמרו Amen. We rise now for the Baruch Hu. Many of you have accustomed to face east toward Yerushalayim, toward Hamakom, toward the place at which God's name is ever present with our people throughout our history. Of course, we turn and direct our hearts toward God, whether we are able to physically stand, whether we are facing east or any other direction, knowing that God's presence is all around us. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach, Le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach, Le'olam va'ed. Or Hadash al Zion Ta'ir, Or Hadash al Zion Ta'ir, Venizke chulanu mehera le'oro, Venizke chulanu mehera le'oro, Baruch atah Adonai yotzer hameorot. Praised are you, Adonai, creator of all heavenly lights. At dawn, I seek you, my rock, my refuge. Where light meets dark, I judge myself. Faced with your grandeur, I stand astonished and timid, for your eyes see all the thoughts in my heart. My heart and my tongue fail me. What is the source of my strength and what the spirit within me? So I will raise my voice in poems of praise to you, in gratitude for the breath of God you have placed within me. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher be'amo Yisrael be'ahava. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. If it is your custom to remain standing through the Shema, you may be seated at this time. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. שירה חדשה שיבחו גאולים, לשמך על שפת הים, יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך, לעולם ועד. צאו ישראל, קומה ועזרת ישראל, ופדחנו ממך יהודה וישראל. גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל, קדוש ישראל. ברוך אתה אדוני גר ישראל. We rise now for the Amidah. Adonai, שפתי תפתח ופי אגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוא כל הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני, אדוננו מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון, לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. To all generations we will declare your greatness, and for all eternity proclaim your holiness. Your praise, O God, shall never depart from our lips. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Please be seated. On this holy Shabbat, may we draw nearer in life, in peace, and in joy. May we find true rest, holiness in our deeds, worth in our study of Torah. Baruch atah Adonai she'otecha levadecha b'yirah na'avod. We continue now in silent prayer. יהיו לרצון אמרפי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי אדוני צורי אדוני צורי וגואלי יהיו לרצון אמרפי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי אדוני צורי אדוני צורי וגואלי יהיו לרצון אמרפי והגיון ליבי לפניך. As we prepare for the Torah reading this morning, seems like the rain, at least here, is sort of slowing down, finally coming to a stop. It's been a beautiful morning, a beautiful time, relief from the intense heat that we have had this week for the first time in a while. As we prepare to bring out the Torah, the presence of Torah among us, some of you may choose to rise. There is no Sefer Torah in our presence this morning in prayer, although the words of Torah are present, and so you may choose to rise according to your own custom. Ein kamocha va'elohim Adonai, ve'en kema'asecha, malchutecha malchut kol olamim, umemshaltecha bechol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai oz le'amo yitein, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. There is none like you among gods, Adonai, and there are no deeds like yours. You are sovereign over all worlds. Your dominion is in all generations. Adonai reigns. Adonai has reigned. Adonai will reign forever and ever. Adonai will give strength to our people. Adonai will bless our people with peace. Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, udvar Adonai mirushalayim. Baruch shenatan Torah Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah Torah, Le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Gadol Adonai iti. ונרוממה שמו יחדיו. For our Aliyah this morning, I would like to welcome all of you who are joining by streaming this morning. We'll give a break to those who are on Zoom and allow all of you on Zoom to reply to the blessing. So all of you, if you are streaming on Facebook or YouTube or any other platform, you will lead us in the prayer as we call you to the Torah, to the presence of the Divrei Torah, the words of Torah, with this blessing. Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach. The rest of us reply, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah. Amen. Uva'u alecha kol habrachot ha'ele v'hishigucha ki tashma b'kol Adonai Elohecha. Baruch atah ba'ir, uvaruch atah basadeh. Baruch Tanacha umishartecha. Baruch atah bevorecha, uvaruch atah beitzecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. A few words of Torah. This is a short but incredibly fascinating parsha. As we discussed this morning, we didn't even get to this part, to these wonderful blessings. These words of blessing are given to us. All of these blessings shall come upon you and take effect if you will but heed the word of Adonai your God. Blessed shall you be in your city, and blessed shall you be in the country. Blessed shall be your basket and your kneading bowl. Blessed shall you be in your comings, and blessed shall you be in your goings. In entering and upon exiting, all of these blessings will come to you. This is, it's very common to see this blessing in homes, in kitchens. You can put it above your doorway, alongside your mezuzah. We are so full of blessings, and we are indeed blessed when we follow the teachings of Torah, when we when we recognize God's commandments to watch over the widow and the immigrant and the orphan. I'm not finding the verse now. As we are commanded to protect all of those in our society who need our protection. We recognize that there are some of us that need protection less than others, that there are many among us who have the power under our own faculties to take care of ourselves and our loved ones, to earn a wage, to pay our bills, even in these times that are so difficult. The Torah continually reminds us that there are always those who are at a disadvantage, who do not have the resources that many of us do. That for those, our Torah guarantees a place of safety and security in our society, a life of worth to everyone, regardless of their natural ability, regardless of the circumstances of their life. All of those who have no one to help them or watch over them, which is why it specifies the immigrant, the widow, the orphan. These are all individuals that have limited resources, limited social capital, limited ability um, to execute the full freedom of their lives and their potential. And so the Torah reminds us that it falls upon us, even as we are going through the struggles of day-to-day life. And believe me, if you want struggles, read the rest of this parsha. Everything that can go wrong goes wrong in this parsha. And yet, even when everything else is so difficult, when we are tormented by anxiety and circumstance that afflict our lives, our individual lives and our communal lives, just as we are now, the obligation to care for those who do not have our same advantages and privileges, that obligation never goes away. And that is what our blessing is contingent on. We follow the words of Torah when we ensure the safety and security of those who have been affected and disadvantaged by circumstances beyond their control. And in doing so, we become blessed. That's the message of this parsha. I won't even mention the fact that there are 49 curses that will, according to the Torah, fall upon us if we neglect our duties of the Torah. We have but to follow through on our promise, on our commitment to God, our promise to take care of one another, to extend the boundaries of our household beyond the walls of our houses, to make sure that everyone within our circle of influence is cared for, and to expand that circle of influence as widely as we possibly can to the limits of our capacity, not beyond. I know there are also those of you out there that wish to stretch your ability beyond your capacity. You don't have to do that. The Torah does not say to give beyond the edges of your field, only to the edges of your field. It does not say bring all of your produce to the temple, to the Levites, who are also a people with no land, who had no ability to sustain themselves. It says bring your first fruits. Bring the best of what you have to offer to others, and keep everything else that you need for yourself. It's in this balance that we find true blessing. It's in this balance and the constant recollection of our obligations to those around us. Shabbat Shalom. We take a moment to say a prayer of healing for all those who are in need of healing in our community and beyond. If you know of anyone who is in need of God's presence and God's healing presence in their life, you will say their name. You may type it in the chat when I pause in the Hebrew. We ask for God to bring healing to those in need of healing, bodily healing or spiritual healing, all of those who are impeded from their full selves at this time. משברך אבותינו ואימותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, שרה, רבקה, רחל ולאה, ויברך את החולים. הקדוש ברוך הוא, הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא רחמים עליהם, להחלימם ולרפאותם ולהחזיקם, וישלח להם מהרה רפואה שלמה מן השמיים, רפואת הנפש ורפואת הגוף, השתה בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ונאמר Amen. We prepare now to return the Torah to the ark within our hearts, and praying for the time when we can return the Sefer Torah, the scroll of Torah, to the physical ark within our physical sanctuary, not just the sanctuary of our homes and the sanctuaries of our hearts. עץ חיים היא למחזיקים בה, ותומכיה מאושר. דרכיה דרכי נועם, וכל נתיבותיה שלום. השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה, חדש חדש ימינו, חדש ימינו We rise now for the Aleinu as we begin to conclude our service. You may rise in your heart or rise physically if you are able. Aleinu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגאי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. There are stars up above so far away that we see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we love. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us as we live our days These are the ways to remember. If there's anybody that you are remembering at this time, at a time of Shiva, those who have died or had their funeral within the past week, that you are remembering at the time of Shloshim, within the past 30 days, or Sha'ah, within the first 11 months of mourning. If there are those you're remembering on the dates of their yahrzeit, the anniversary of their death, or if there are those whose presence comes to your heart particularly strong at this moment, you may say their names aloud or post them in the chat. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be a blessing. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, v'alma divra chirotei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, b'chagla uv'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevarach le'olam u'l'olmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithaдар v'yit'aleh v'yithalal. Shmei d'kodesha b'richu. Le'ila min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbehata v'nechemata da'amiram ba'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all the world, to which we say, Amen. This is the time to prepare for our Shabbat Kiddush. If you have wine or grape juice, if you have challah or other treats, if you have something else that you are drinking or eating this morning that you're enjoying, this is the time to quickly go and grab that, have it ready as we join together. I hope all of you will stick around for our Oneg Shabbat immediately following the service on Zoom, right after our Kiddush. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותיו ברית עולם. Shabbat Shalom. Take out your Kiddush cup and join in our Kiddush. Make sure it doesn't vanish into thin air. I love doing this little Zoom magic trick here. Al kein berach Adonai et Yom HaShabbat vayikadshehu. Therefore Adonai blessed the day of Shabbat and hallowed it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehakol nihiyeh bidvaro. That's for all other beverages. L'chaim. If you are enjoying challah or bread or any other treats, we say with you, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat Shalom, and join us for the oneg, which is starting right now.